Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order for Monday, June 22nd at 7 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. I'd like to start tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Thompson.
I pledge allegiance to the
flag
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Also, I'd like to have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Dana, would you give a roll call, please?
Mayor Seawald, absent. Vice Mayor Seelock.
Here.
Councilman Cockrell.
Here.
Councilman Gillespie. Councilman Holloway.
Here.
Councilman Meza.
Here.
Councilman Thompson.
Here.
The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion, please?
Mr. Vice Mayor, I move to approve work session minutes of June 1st, June 8th, June 15th, June 16th of 2020, regular council meeting minutes of June 8th, 2020.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Approval of the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none.
Vice Mayor Seelock.
Yes.
Councilman Cockrell.
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie.
Yes.
Councilman Holloway.
Yes.
Councilman Meza.
Yes.
Councilman Thompson.
Yes.
Receipt of petitions and correspondence from the public. Tina, again. Do we have anybody?
Yes, sir, we have 6. The first one is Paul Aldridge.
Good evening. Paul Aldrich at 256 Orchard Street in the town of Front Royal. I'd like to ask for a little indulgence this evening. I would like to make a presentation to Chief McGillis, if that would be okay.
Okay.
Chief, if you would please.
If I'm coming up here, I can't be socially distanced. I gotta put my mask on. You like that?
Chief, on behalf of the town of Front Royal and the Warren County Second Amendment Commission, we would like to present you with a certificate of appreciation for yours and your officers' diligence in keeping this town safe and working with us for that.
We certainly do appreciate that.
So,
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Next.
Ed Iyer. Hope I'm saying that correctly.
Close enough.
That's close enough.
I'd just like to make a few observations.
Would you first your name and address, please?
My name is Edward Irie, 705 Woodlawn Avenue. I'd just like to make a few observations that I don't think people talk about often enough. In the last few months, we have had 3 water main breaks in the vicinity of our house, 2 of them right across the street and 1 of them around the corner. Water pressure went down a little bit. That's how we know it was a water main break. I could look out my front window and see the water gushing out across the street. And we did the standard thing we do when something like that happens. We call the police department because they have access to everyone. Within a matter of, I don't know, it wasn't too long, matter of minutes, a crew of a few men showed up and they worked on that. We never lost water. We had water all the time, although the pressure was a little low. Those few men that did that job in a couple of hours were impressive. They didn't mess around, they didn't fool around, they did the work and they left. And that was done. A week or two later, the same thing happened within 10 feet of that. And again, it was a really professional job. I was impressed with the way they worked and also with the short period of time it took to fix that problem. The next week, same thing happened, but it was around the corner, in the middle of the street, late in the afternoon. There was a crew out there, I think, all night long, fixing that, not waiting till the next day, doing it right then, in the dark, with lights. By the time I woke up in the morning, we had complete water pressure back. Everything was back to normal. That's impressive. I don't think these men get enough appreciation, and somebody ought to talk to them and tell them they're appreciated. I don't know where to find them, or else I would. Another thing happened that, I don't know, this was perhaps a year ago or so, and I thought about it. A car hit a telephone pole on Accomack. We're without electricity. Electricity's gone. A crew from this town, I assume, put a new pole in at night. Put a new transformer up there, went through that whole thing. In the morning, we had electricity, just like that. That's impressive. I don't think you get service like that in most places. A little over a year ago, and I spoke to the town manager about this then, I put out 3 cans of yard waste. Truck came around and they picked up the yard waste, emptied the cans, and very carefully, it was a windy day, they put the lids on the ground and put the cans on top of the lids. That takes extra time. That's not something a lot of people would think to do. But I didn't have to go chase lids. I was impressed. The last thing I would like to say is I violated the traffic rule a while back, and I was pulled over by a policeman from the town. He was very courteous, he was pleasant. He gave a ticket, but that's all right. You know, that's his job. But I was impressed with the way he behaved. And I think that there was a reason that the police chief got that award tonight. I understand that. I'm impressed. I haven't lived here long, I don't know, 12, 13 years or something like that. But this is an impressive town. The people that work here and work for the town are also impressive. And I could criticize you if I wish, but I don't wish to do that. I only have one more thing to say. Vote.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. Matt, Robbie, make sure that gets back to everyone on staff, please.
Sure will. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Linda Allen.
I would like to say that I agree with everything he said. Unfortunately, mine is not good news. I'm Linda Allen, I live at 15 Massey Street. This is the second time in 2020 that I report false statements made to the public by council or interim town manager. The false statement made this time was that the EDA has not helped the town in the last 15 years. That statement was made by a council member as part of an effort to persuade residents that we need a town EDA and how inexpensive it would be to set it up. Flat out, it wouldn't be inexpensive to set up, and we don't own the property to market. For a brief slice, however, of the record on the EDA, it has helped the town by arranging loans and working out other details for the Front Royal Police Department, the Leech Run Parkway, the West Main Connector, and taking over the Acton Inn project. These projects have required several years of preparation and construction. Some are ongoing. The EDA has also successfully sold 4 properties this year. 3 are in town, 1 in the county. Also, the Vice Chairman, Jeff Brown, EDA Board of Directors, held a commercial open house this year to market 26 properties, 19 being in town. And then Felicia Hart did off the traveling tour for realtors, subsequently gaining the cooperation of EDA and the Blue Ridge Realtors for the tour. Council has been told all of the preceding information long before today. So that makes the false statement made by a council member that the public would have heard even more hurtful and offensive. Note has been previously made that the current EDA offered a reduced interest rate payable on the police department. The town refused to accept the reduced rate, preferring instead to sue the EDA and have a higher interest rate to pay on the police department, going from $500 a day with the refusal to $692 a day, which is accumulating daily unpaid for someday a court case that the town thinks it can win. The EDA, on any day of the week, provides evidence that the EDA is working consistently and positively in attitude and actions toward us, which is far different than the way we look others here and in other areas. Can we think that over, please?
Next.
Police Rappaport.
Bruce Rappaport, 300 West Main Street, number 1. Driving down the road, writing down notes. So this will be a little different than last time. Will someone please explain to the town constituents why council feels the need to have its own EDA? The former players are gone, and we have a new, quite capable director in Doug Parsons. In Lewis County, West Virginia, he was instrumental in securing land for a new 73-acre industrial park, wrote and administered $10 million in grants. He was also a business developer in Leesburg, Virginia for 3 years. Leesburg has a population of 52,000 people. Front Royal has 15,000. So he's quite capable. The county has 40 with the town. He's very capable. He also is certified as an economic developer finance professional. He's certified as a project administrator via West Virginia Jobs Development Council. So we already have a player in place with experience who knows how to fund it, and he can ID properties to market. Why is there a need to duplicate services and stick the town with funding too high-income salaries? I'm going to reiterate that going down this path of isolationism from the county will negate any competitive advantage that the town has. I'm going to quote Aristotle. He said that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Collaboration with our current EDA and county is the best approach to making Front Royal great again. Now, I have one comment to make on your agenda tonight with tourism. One of the areas of concern, or one of the options that was brought up, was comparing Front Royal to Sedona, Arizona. I've been to Sedona 5 times, and I can tell you that Front Royal is not in that class. It's a different rock formation, and to tell you one thing about Sedona, they put in a 3.5% bid tax, and that's how they fund their tourism. So travelers are paying for it. In addition, they have what they call a red rock tax. And in order to walk all the trails, the whole city of 10,000 people is built around these trails. They have 103 hotels. I think Front Royal has 15. Their median property values is $446,000. Asheville, North Carolina was another comparison. They have 92,000 people. It's a college town, fairly large college town. County and city has 238,000 people. They have 138 hotels. Front Royal has 15. Median home values are $332,000. So wherever we're going with this, we need to be realistic. And I think taking an option that route is not the right way to go, because their model is completely different than what we have to offer here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Samuel Porter.
Hello, my name is Samuel Porter. I'm from 216 Fletcher Street here in town. Councilman Cockrell, Councilman Gillespie, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor Seelock, Councilman Thompson, Councilman Meza, Councilman Holloway, Ms. Tina, Town Manager Tedrick, sorry, and Mr. Napier. I just want you all to really know that the chief of police here is a very awesome person. Just this past Saturday, we were able to have another march. I think you all know by now, you've seen the reports. Again, very peaceful, and you sit under these words, "In God we trust." You're here for a reason, and I just hope that we've shown you that we come to the table very peacefully. There are some things that we're looking into that we may propose later, but hopefully we continue this peaceful, unified mission that we have. We like to build bridges and not burn them, and it's really inspiring to me and motivates me to continue this, to have the help that I've had. And I know that I haven't got to meet with you all individually, but the people that you have in positions that do meet with us individually have done above and beyond for us. So just really, really from the bottom of my heart, and as a Longtown resident, I'm very, very appreciative. And whether we stop tomorrow or not, I'll always be thankful for the opportunities that we've been able to do in the past few weeks. Really, really, really appreciative. God bless you and your families. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to thank you all also. We've had an excellent experience working with Mr. Tedrick and Chief McGallis, and I think that we have something really great brewing here as far as uniting the community, and we're really excited to be working with you guys in the future. So thank you all so much.
That's all for tonight.
We'll go to item number 6, reports for the night. Report of special committees for town officials and interim town manager. Ed, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First item, we wanted to have Mr. Davis say a few words, come address the council.
Thank you, sir. Vice Mayor and members of council, thank you for the opportunity again to come before you. It's been longer than I would like for it to be. It's nice to see you all face to face. First time in a while I've had that pleasure in a setting as this. I'm the executive director of the Northern Shenandoah Valley Regional Commission. Many of you know me and know you, but I still have yet to meet a few of you. So I'll start by saying for you all and for those who may be watching or in the room who don't know us, we're a small regional governmental organization that's created by the local governments in the Northern Shenandoah Valley to do those things that local governments either have to do but make more sense to do together, or that we can do more effectively or less expensively together. And we have a limited ability to perform tasks that we're directed to do because we only have 10 people. When I say small, we're small. But we're pretty proud of what we're able to accomplish. So rather than go into a broad brush of everything that we do and try to cover too much, I usually choose one topic of interest and dive a little deeper into that, knowing that I'll be back before you quarterly or thereafter. So over time, we'll be able to share lots about what we do in a little deeper fashion. Tonight, I'd like to talk a little bit about recycling. I know that's something that I've spoken about in the past, and it's something that's very interesting to you all. We were able to commission a regional recycling feasibility study at the direction of our local governments. It wasn't something that we did on our own, but all the local governments in the region who perform recycling were facing challenges, largely caused by external factors, the marketplace, in a global marketplace, and shifting demands for products, the way that we all shop and live our lives. That's impacting everybody's ability to effectively deliver the service for recycling that most want to receive. Costs just continue to increase. So the local governments directed us to try to figure out a way to work together to do it more effectively. The obvious choice to do that, we're not recycling experts, the obvious choice was to hire a consulting firm that did have expertise in that field. We chose SCS Engineers, and we were able to tag onto a contract with Frederick County to try to leverage some of the work that they had already done in Frederick County with a similar study on a smaller scale. So the findings of the study are on our website and available there, and I can share them through the town manager if you so prefer, but I'll boil it down to you and oversimplify it as I usually try to do, and then go more in depth with questions that you may have. Essentially what we found, our consultants found, and I'm just delivering to you, was that the region would benefit from a regional recycling facility. So the development of a facility here that we can somehow collaborate and do it on a regional basis. That being said, the private sector, as it is wont to do, is moving faster than government, as it should. Government is designed to be slow. Well, the private sector has reacted, and through this process, we discovered that there were two options on the table, one within the region and one just outside the region, where the private sector is moving to develop exactly what we were looking at, trying to design. So our purpose, our strategy, maybe more specifically than our purpose, has shifted based on this new information. The way we expect to move forward, knowing that the findings support the development of a regional facility, we would like to work with whoever chooses to actually move forward with those plans in this new environment first, to make sure that the facility is developed in a way that it meets the needs of our local governments. Because if they build a facility that is designed specifically for commercial industrial use and it doesn't meet the needs of local governments, we're back in the same spot. So we want to try to make sure that that doesn't happen by engaging early and often. And the second piece of it is we identify that all the local governments in the region that provide recycling services do so a little bit differently. And there may be an opportunity for economies of scale or cost savings if we can shift some of the programs in a minor fashion and others maybe in a major fashion so they match up and align. That would allow us to bid collaboratively across the region and get more competitive contracts. So this is a long-term solution. This is not something that's going to be implemented tomorrow by any means. But the way we would like to move forward in trying to help the region find these efficiencies is through the public works directors and the solid waste managers who guided this study and encouraged us and pushed the engineers to be creative, who we hired to do it. So we have a solid waste regional technical committee that comes together. It's made up of those folks, and it meets every so often in our offices so we can keep doing those things again. And we're going to hopefully be able to work through some of these issues, trying to figure out how to align the programs to make them more competitive for collaborative bidding. And we also want to engage through that committee to deal with whatever developers actually come to the table. Now, if the private sector chooses not to move for whatever reason, whether it be COVID or something else, then I think it would be our responsibility to take another look at whether or not it's the role of government to develop this facility. If the marketplace is there and we have the tolerance for the risk to make such an investment. But in the near term, I think the obvious recommendation was to let the private sector do what it's going to do and try to react and encourage them to do it in a way that benefits the local governments and not just commercial and industrial. So I'll be glad to try to answer any questions that you have. I can go a little deeper. If it gets too technical, I'm going to have to get back to you with the details and hold on some folks who have engineering degrees and not public management funds.
Anyone have a question? Thank you.
Take care.
See, like, continue my report.
Go ahead.
Thank you. It's a shame that Mr. Irie left. I just wanted to thank him for those kind words and sincere recognition of town staff that truly deserve it. Council may not know this, but we've struggled with our street maintenance crew and our water sewer maintenance crew. We've been short-staffed during this coronavirus, and those guys have really stepped up to the plate. And interestingly, today alone, the supervisor, Tony Rogers, received a certificate from a citizen from exactly the same reason for their quick response. And it's a testimony to Mr. Boyer and how he runs his department. Every staff meeting at the top of my agenda is excellence in everything. And that's what we try to drill, is every little detail of service to our community, provide excellent service. And it's just real refreshing to hear those positive comments from Mr. Irie. And as it relates to Mr. Porter and Ms. Hubbard, as a testimony to Front Royal Unites, you know, that organization has done everything they said they were going to do in every meeting we've had with them. Everything from having internal volunteers providing security, to cleaning up the streets afterwards, to a peaceful protest. And we've been, you know, the chief and I have been very candid. We've had good open discussions with Front Royal Unite. So I too am very optimistic with what the bright future we have in collaborating and working on projects. They've got some really great ideas for some improvements in some areas of our community that need it. And I'm real excited to help start that. I did want to comment, Mr. Mayor, members of council, as it relates to utility disconnects. I had planned to put this up on the projector so you could read it or follow it, but if you would indulge me, I want to go through a timeline for you so you can get a perspective of where we've been, where we are, and where we're going as it relates to utility disconnects. Currently, as of May 31st, the town of Front Royal's receivables for delinquent utility accounts totaled $841,000 and had approximately 2,022 delinquent active utility accounts. This represents an increase of $175,104 as compared to April 2020. On March 16, 2020, the State Corporation Commission ordered an immediate moratorium on service disconnections for unpaid utility bills until May 15th. As you know, members of council, we are not under the SEC as it relates to utilities because we are a public utility. The town of Front Royal we did temporarily stop on March 16th. We stopped assessing late fees and disconnects due to COVID-19 pandemic. On March 31st, the town temporarily discontinued collection of credit card fees. On April 9th, the SCC issued a second order extending moratorium for an additional 30 days until June 15th. On May 20th, the town began public notice and utility bill inserts notifying account holders that utility service would be disconnected due to non-payment effective July 1st. So that was on May 20th. On May 26th, the Department of Finance lobby reopened for business. On June 9th, the local newspaper printed an article regarding town resuming disconnects July 1st. On June 12th, the SCC issued order further extending moratorium until August 31st. And on July 1st, 2020, the town currently scheduled to resume collection of credit card fees, assessing late fees and penalties, and disconnection of utility services due to non-payment. If the town were to delay disconnects until August 31st, and if the trend of a monthly increase of $175,000 for delinquent utility accounts were to continue, the accounts receivable for delinquent utility accounts could reach $1.3 million. So this hasn't been done in a rash fashion. This has been a very thoughtful plan. We have to get back started to collecting utility bills. As you know, with the COVID-19 various grants and whatnot, the individuals that are unemployed receive a significant amount of money on a weekly basis. And we've actually had people contacting us who, made it clear that they have the money, but they just don't want to pay their bills yet because they don't have to pay their bills yet. So, we're going to continue to put them in the utility bills. We're going to post this information on social media, and we're also going to do a radio ad. So, we sent a letter to individuals that are close to being disconnected or were past due, and informing them, please come to the town finance department and let us work with you. Let us find a way to come up with a resolution to help you should you have a significant amount of balance on your account. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I had other information I wanted to talk about tonight, but since the projector's not working, I'll just defer that until the next work session pending any questions from council.
I noticed you used some important words as far as the council is concerned. We have discussed that the town employees are working closely with any delinquent utilities and trying to work out the issues with people. So that was very important. So I don't know if you heard that, but we have made that very clear. And I'm stating it again tonight just to make sure that everybody hears it.
Yes, sir.
Because we have a long history of doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Next item is inquiries of council members. Does anyone like to speak?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Jake.
You know I won't let it go by. First, let me apologize. I hate speaking with a mask on. I apologize we're not able to get the 6 feet of distancing, so I know it looks ridiculous and funny, and you can't read my expressions. So, that being said, I did want to address the statement from Ms. Allen on the EDA and criticizing council releasing false statements, along the lines of our relationship with the EDA. And I do think it's a little bit ironic, and I want to take a step back and reflect on our relationship with the EDA, lest we might forget how this all started. And instead of going through all the details of when everything fell apart with the EDA, I'm going to just give a little bit of an example here, a rhetorical question about how long would it take for your personal trust to be restored when, Ms. Allen, let's just use an example. Let's say you hire a contractor to buy property and build you a house, buy some property and build you a house. And you wait months on the purchase and this acquisition, then you wait even longer on the building of this house that you just purchased. And you're really excited, it's taken longer and longer, only to find out that the cost of the project significantly increased. And to make matters worse, that the money you invested in this process that the money you've invested in these contractors has disappeared or has been stolen from you. Either way, whatever the details are, you've lost a significant amount of time, money, and investment with this contractor. Fast forward, now you're suing this contractor like any person would to get their money back. You're trying to restore what was lost, what was taken from you. And now you're being asked, oh, give him a second shot. No, this time it's going to be a lot better. Take that same money that you're fighting for. We don't care that you're in a lawsuit with this contractor or their company. Go ahead and invest again. This time it's going to be better. I'm not saying that this is a perfect scenario of what's happened with the EDA, but I do think it paints a little bit of a picture of why there is a lack of trust. And I think it's disingenuous to villainize council for being cautious about their next steps. This is coming up on a weekly basis. I can tell you, and Mr. Rappaport, I think you hit it on the head when you said that Doug Parsons is a really great guy with great experience. I've met him on numerous occasions. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm excited to work with him. And I think that Doug will be around for a long time in this community and will do a lot of good. But I don't think it's fair to continue to villainize council for being guarded about their next steps when the past was not caused by council, but caused from a lack of oversight of the EDA and the embezzlement of funds unchecked by many different departments, not town council. I want to make sure that everybody understands the story there, lest it keeps coming back up on a weekly basis of why council would be taking cautious steps moving forward with an EDA. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Nobody else at this time?
I'd just like to mention one thing, to tag along with what Mr. Tedrick said, and I'm sorry Mr. Irie left too, because that might have been one of my favorite times anybody has spoken here tonight, just for people to compliment a job well done. We all are guilty of not doing that enough in society, and I'm just so glad that he took the time to come out tonight and not just say thank you, but give actual examples. And so I'm just really appreciative of him, and I'm glad that he could compliment our employees, which I'm sure everybody enjoys a pat on the back. And so hearing it from others other than just their employers is a good thing, so.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, let's move on. Mayor is on vacation this time. There'll be no report by him or myself. Are there any proposals for addition or deletions of items to the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, or Vice Mayor?
Yes,
So just to reinforce to council, item 7A, there was a incorrect insert into the document for the vendor spreadsheet. The motion is correct under 7A, but the vendor name should read West Coast Distribution, Richmond, Virginia.
Is that all?
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right, let's move on to the consent agenda. Items A through D. Item A, bid for cable for Leech Run Parkway. Item B, refer to Planning Commission the blighted buildings on non-conforming lots. Item C, contract on call civil engineering. And D, award for asphalt repairs. May I have a motion for consent agenda items, please?
Mr. Vice Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Second.
And I have a second. Is there any discussion at this point? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Seelock,
Yes.
Councilman Cockrell,
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie,
Yes.
Councilman Holloway,
Yes.
Councilman Meza,
Yes.
Councilman Thompson.
Yes.
Consent agendas is passed. Let's move to item 8, public hearing. Ordinance to amend the chapter 16 Industrial Development Authority. I call the public hearing to order. Would you read it, please?
Council is requested to affirm on its first reading an ordinance to amend and reenact Town Code Chapter 16 Industrial Development Authority. If approved during the second reading, a Front Royal Economic Development Authority will be established.
Does anyone to speak on that matter?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Allen will recognize you.
Linda Allen, 15 Massey Street. And we're going to do another point straight before we leave. Okay? Looking at what council does, you know that different people perceive it in different ways. And so this is much of what I live with and am surrounded by for impressions. And I listen very carefully to what you say, and I have to agree with these things. Alright, so council actions for a separate or town EDA imply that town taxpayers want a combative situation with their friends and neighbors. And 2, to have council spend lavishly on lawyers, pay higher interest rates necessary, and have a separate EDA, plus have us share in the cost of it, county EDA, because we are also county citizens. This council has accepted too, that the interim town manager plan, in essence, to lose money on tourism by cutting off the program without having a plan in its place before cutting it off is a performance evaluation that you rarely find. So there's some issues here about the way you operate and what it means. The 2 EDAs, however, mock the idea that people keep campaigning on. The idea is the town and the county need to work together on whatever we can so that we do not duplicate services, but instead save money. How do you separate the town from the county when we in the town are always part of the county and its support through our taxes? How do you separate me? I belong to the town and the county. We need to cooperate rather than compete to succeed, and succeed by orderly processes that recognize we have unique features we can all celebrate to develop business and industry here at a level beyond other areas in Virginia. And in fact, by the way, we are growing a little bit slowly, but we are at least growing. So we have some opportunities ahead of us. We have the inland port, we have the crossing of I-81 and I-66, such that we have excellent transport opportunities here from north, south, east, and west. We also have a somewhat diversified base here of industries and commercial enterprises, while also employing a cluster concept to develop industries. And we have a labor force available for the industries that we have. What happens too to the values and goals that each entity has espoused? Ideas such as community pride. Last but far from least, the theory on the street, and I've never before said anything that was like a theory on the street. I've always spoken for myself when the chips fall where they may, but I am dying of curiosity about this. So the town manager needs a new job. And so if people are betting that his next job's going to be director of EDA, and I want to know if he is. Okay? All right, Mr. Meza, my point was that someone did not tell the truth. And I don't care to name the person, that's not important. The idea is that you are obligated always to tell the truth. And that I was giving you evidence that the EDA has done something for the town in the last 15 years. It was not about the contract. I would not disagree with your example. And I would say that the past EDA has not even legally been engaged in some of the projects that they have. Okay, so I don't deny any real evidence that you and I are aware of. But I do want to say, you have to tell the truth. But it wasn't you. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
I'll speak as well, and something to say. Is that all right?
You didn't get on the list?
Well, she didn't take our names. She said we could volunteer. Okay?
If you don't want me to speak, that's fine.
Mr. Rappaport, I'll give you your 3 minutes.
Okay, probably won't take 10 minutes.
Okay.
Apathy. Now, I really do want to go down this road. You know my position. I made it clear in my public comment. Mr. Meza, I guess we can agree to disagree on the fact that you like working with Doug Parsons, but apparently you agree that the town needs to have its own EDA. I don't see it that way. The town had control years ago, but they gave it back because they didn't want to take care of the bridges. So we were in Fat City, and when we gave back the bridges, you know, that's a misnomer. You think the state would have allowed the bridges to fall apart? No, I don't think so. I think there would have been some type of road sharing grants that would have come about to help the town out to pay for it. For whatever reason, we were in panic mode. I don't know why that was. I mean, Walter Duncan, when he was in the late part of his life, he came back on August 15th of 2011. He presented a document to the town. And he made comparisons. I mean, this was a man that had 7 years on the town planning commission, 21 years as town manager, 11 years as a member of the town council. And he basically begged the town to try to go into an annexation fight to recover that $700,000 that they lost when he gave the bridges back to the state and the county. You know, his points were through 1960 to 2010, the town paid $49.7 million and 93.1% of capital costs of the infrastructure, while the county only paid $3.7 million or 6.9%, totaling $53.4 million. We'll never recover that on the deal that we made a couple of years ago with the meals tax and the lodging tax fees. It amounts to about 30%, of which we gather about 240 grand a year, 250 maybe, and the county gets 500 grand, 400 some odd grand. We're in a tough position there. The point being is that we had the opportunity, we gave it back to the county. Now we need to work collaboratively with the county and the Economic Development Authority rather than reconstruct the wheel. It's silliness. It's just silly talk. Shay Parker was another one who brought it up back in, I think, 2015. And he got blown off by it. So we just don't have the kahunas to fight for the annexation. Is that a bad word? I'm sorry. Take it back.
Thank you.
There. The Green Mile. Anyway, I just hope that we all come to our senses, that we realize that collaboration, we have a new EDA group in there. You can't go back. Apparently there's alleged bad people The bad people are gone, and I'm hopeful that we will come to our senses and try to work with the county and the present EDA rather than spend a bunch of time and money on this subject when we have many, many more important things on our plate. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this point, I declare the open public hearing over. Let's move to item number 9, council approval to resolicit the purchase of chemicals for water. On this one?
The motion for the IDA.
Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta wrap it up in Mr. Rappaport's discussion. Okay, I need a motion then. Who's gonna carry the motion tonight?
Mr. Vice Mayor, I move that council affirm on its first reading an ordinance to amend and reenact Town Code Chapter 16, Industrial Development Authority as presented.
Second.
I got the motion and a second to the ordinance for amendment of Chapter 16 Industrial Development Authority. Ms. Tina, would you, discussion, I'm sorry. I'll get it straight in a minute. Are you up?
Sure, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to comment and first let me say thank you to Ms. Allen and Mr. Rappaport for coming out and speaking. It's actually hard for both sides. I know it's hard to come up here and speak to council. Believe it or not, it is hard to speak from council to everyone as well. But thank you for coming out and expressing your viewpoints. As far as the earlier comment about being in favor, why would I be in favor of a town EDA? If we go back just a little bit, if we're talking about once upon a time, the town was part of the EDA. We gave that over to the county. It fell apart. We ended up in a lawsuit. We petitioned Richmond to allow the town to establish its own EDA because we're in a lawsuit with our current EDA, which makes it very difficult to have a partnership to be able to be in a lawsuit and then ask to be partners in the buying and selling of property or economic development within the town. Knowing that this could potentially drag on for a period of time, council at that time thought it would be best to go ahead and make the petition so that we have the ability to do so. Fast forward a little bit further, we're still in a lawsuit with the EDA, trying to recover those funds that I talked about earlier. COVID hits our town. We have an opportunity to help our businesses through the distribution of funds through the CARES Act, and this is just the beginning. There's going to be so much more related to whether or not businesses even get to stay in business in our main street, but all around our town. And we want the ability, I'm going to speak for myself, I want the ability for this town to be able to act quickly, be mobile, and help our businesses, not just the downtown, but all around the town, and of course the town and county. I mean, care for all the businesses around here. But it would seem that we're at a little bit of an impasse that we have to get over with our current EDA before one would think that it was a reasonable step to start working together to be able to do that. I would love for that to happen. I would love for that to be today. It's not today. And so I think that it is a reasonable step, again, from my opinion, for this council to move towards developing their own economic development authority, at the very least, again, to be, partner, or the chamber is going to potentially carry that for us for the time being, to be able to work with our businesses and distribute the CARES Act funding, and then move on to the other town projects that we have, again, for the time being. That doesn't mean that this has to be an economic development authority that lasts a decade, but it can be an avenue that this town uses until everything is settled. And because of that, I am in favor of establishing an economic development authority for the town.
Anyone else?
Yes, I'd like to speak. I'd like to say that I would like to have a relationship with the county, a positive one. I know that's what our community would like. For some of the same reasons Mr. Mays has said, this is where we are tonight. I like the fact that he said it doesn't mean it's forever. What we're discussing tonight in the public hearing is the opportunity to establish Front Royal's own economic development authority. I do have some concerns that are the same ones that were shared here this evening, but we are where we are, and I'm hopeful and optimistic that in the future we can all work together. But we have to make some decisions. So.
Anyone else?
Yes, I'd like to say something. So in regards to the idea, I've been doing some thinking on this, and the way I see this is almost like a blank check, because directors aren't going to come and volunteer. That's going to be at least a six-figure salary. And then we have administrative support. When we were talking more about the CARES Act and trying to do something on our own, I was more into forming that for that purpose. But it seems we're moving towards having the chamber do it, so I'm okay not doing it at this moment, so I will be voting no. And I've also not heard any citizens, whether on social media or contacting me via email or whatnot, that are in support of this.
Seeing no one else, Christina, would you give me a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Seelon?
Yes.
Councilman Cockrell?
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Meza?
Yes.
Councilman Thompson?
No.
Item 8 passes. Item 9, council approval to resolicit purchase of chemicals for water and wastewater plants. Someone read the motion, please?
Mr. Vice Mayor, I move account. Oh, sorry, motion. Do you want us to read the motion or the summary?
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, go ahead, Ms. Tina. Would you read the purchase or
The summary, okay. On June 8th, 2020, council approved the award of a bid to purchase various water and wastewater treatment chemicals. Since that time, the purchasing department has determined an error in the bidding process. Council is requested to approve resoliciting the purchase of these chemicals, saving the town over $60,000.
All right, now the motion.
Mr. Vice Mayor, I move the council approve resoliciting the purchase of chemicals for the water and wastewater treatment plants.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion at this point?
Yes, I just want to say thank you to whichever staff member saw the opportunity for us to possibly save $60,000. What an effective thing. I just want to compliment them, whoever that may be, and hopefully that's the reality.
Thank you.
Ms. Cockrell, that would be Ms. Scott, who's back there, Purchasing Officer, and DJ Wilson, Finance Director.
Thank you. Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you all. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Seelon?
Yes.
Councilman Cockrell?
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Meza?
Yes.
Councilman Thompson?
Yes.
Item number 10, council approval for resolution of appreciation for Willie Huck. Would you read, please?
Council is requested to consider approval of a resolution of appreciation to Willie Huck for his dedication, hard work, and volunteerism during downtown rebound as presented.
I move that council approve resolution of appreciation to Willie Huck for the dedication, hard work, and volunteerism during downtown rebound as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second at this point. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Seelon?
Yes.
Councilman Cockrell?
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie,
Yes.
Councilman Holloway,
Yes.
Councilman Meza,
Yes.
Councilman Thompson.
Yes.
Now, don't dance up the hallway. I can't match you.
They missed that one. Oh, now, Dan,
that custom made?
yeah, feel like I'm going back in history.
No dancing. Christina, would you read the resolution, please?
The resolution of appreciation for William Willie Huck. Whereas the Front Royal Town Council and town staff has seen a significant need to assist businesses in the town of Front Royal since March 23rd, 2020, when Governor Northam's Executive Order 53 was executed, affecting upon all businesses in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And whereas on May 8th, the Governor's Order 61 eased the restrictions on certain businesses to reopen with restrictions. And whereas identifying the need to serve the community, town staff and council agreed to allow businessman Mr. William Willie Huck, owner of Family Fun Day Inc. and CNC Frozen Treats, volunteered to help the town organize an event, Downtown Rebound, that would allow restaurants and other businesses to move their businesses onto the street to improve customer attendance and stay within the governor's orders. And whereas Mr. Huck took on the responsibility of setting up chairs, tables, tents, and numerous other services for his fellow businessmen in the downtown area of Front Royal without hesitation for 3 weekends in a row. And now therefore be it resolved that the mayor, on behalf of the Front Royal Town Council, recognize and appreciate William Willie Huck for all his dedication, hard work, and volunteerism to make sure Downtown Rebound was a complete success for our community and our businesses.
Are you gonna hang that in your shop?
Sure.
Yeah.
In the back room.
So it'll be mandatory reading.
Item 11, council approval for joint tourism option between the county and town.
In 2017, a memorandum of agreement was adopted between the town of Front Royal and the county of Warren for a Front Royal Warren County Joint Tourism Advisory Committee to advise, assist, support, and advocate for tourism, policies, programs, and activities to market and promote Front Royal and Warren County. This committee was to serve as the local tourism industry organization, referred to in the state code. On May 19th, 2020, the Joint Tourism Advisory Committee met and presented tourism research and steps to move forward. That included 4 options for the entities to choose from. The County Board of Supervisors met Tuesday, June the 16th, and voted to move forward with option number 3A, a fully contracted out joint tourism program with the town of Front Royal. Council is requested to consider approval of option number 3A of the Front Royal Warren County Joint Tourism Advisory Committee's proposal as presented.
Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that council approve moving forward with option 3A, a fully contracted out joint tourism program with the county of Warrenton as presented in the proposal of May 19, 2020.
Second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion at this point?
Yes. I just wanted to point out, Gary and I served on the committee, and it is my understanding that it's option 3A with the intent to move to 3B once that's possible for the group to get incorporated or whatnot. So just wanted to bring that up, and that's it.
Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Vice Mayor. I just wanted to thank Councilman Gillespie and Councilman Thompson for their work on representing the town with the county. And I also want to point out that this is an excellent example of our leadership teams between the town and the county working together and collaborating on initiatives that impact both the town and the county. And I hope, I mean, you're always looking for silver lining. I hope that this is seen as such. I know there was a collaborative work group with great people from the county board. The feedback received from this council was that it was a fruitful meeting, and I suspect that we're going to see more and more meetings just like that. And so, again, thank you to the council members that represented the town to move this initiative forward.
Yes, Mr. Vice Mayor, I'd like to just say a word. I would like to thank Chairpersons Oates and Colors for being on this committee with us. We got a lot of stuff worked out, of course, and then we're starting with the 3A to move to 3B. And the reason that is there's going to be a joint tourism board, and it's going to take a while to possibly set this board up as far as, because they're going to have an overseeing role as far as the budgeting and fiscal control and that sort of thing. So it's going to take a little while. I've heard some estimations of 6 months or more, but this is a good starting point for us, and we're going to see great things here in the future with this. Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to speak for a second. Mr. Town Manager, did we just approve $50,000 for advertisement for the tourism?
Yes, we've spent a lot of money as it relates to tourism marketing. There's an RFQ for a tourism consultant to actually fill the gap until which time the tourism board can get started. So yes, we're spending money on tourism.
I just wanted the public to understand that we have been doing our due diligence in moving forward with this project. It has not been delayed other than the distance between people and trying to get things done. So we're moving forward. Anyone else?
Vice Mayor Seelon,
Yes.
Councilman Cockrell,
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie,
Yes.
Councilman Holloway,
Yes.
Councilman Meza,
Yes.
Councilman Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes. We will be going into closed session. I will call this open meeting closed, and I'll take a motion to go into closed meeting at this point.
I move the town council go into closed meeting for the following reasons. 1, to discuss and consider the assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, and salaries of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of the town pursuant to section 2.2-3711.a.1. of the Code of Virginia. 2, to consultation with legal counsel and staff members regarding actual litigation concerning the town's ongoing lawsuit against the EDA, whether such consultation or briefing in the open meeting would adversely affect the negotiating or litigating posture of town council. Pursuant to section 2.2-3711.a.7 of the Code of Virginia.
Second.
Have a motion and a second at this point. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Seelon,
Yes.
Councilman Cockrell,
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie,
Yes.
Councilman Holloway,
Yes.
Councilman Meza,
Yes.
Councilman Thompson.
Yes.
We will go into closed session this time to discuss those items.